120 kilometers from me away, you see.
Okay, where are you?
I'm at home and Monica is least at Bremen.
Okay.
Yeah, only for a few days.
Okay.
Gott sei Dank.
Nice to see you all. Welcome. Let's take a moment just to arrive. Resting together, just gently noticing what's moving in you, what you sense and feel as we rest here together. Hi, Anjali.
Hi.
Hi, Isaac.
You wave a hand. Hi, Andrea.
Yes.
Nice. Enjoyed meeting your friends. It was lovely. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah. So very welcome.
Yeah. How can you describe Andrea? Galaxies making love with themselves. I mean, wow, it's hard to put words on all this stuff. Yeah.
For a long time, it felt that my being really wants to be really close to you, even physically. And even that had become, yeah. What could be better than this?
Yeah, that's, I mean, it is so interesting, you know, there is, I mean, you know, because touch is the first language, so to speak, physical touch, but then there's something that's beyond the whole range of everything. It's just, yeah, it's just, yeah. You can talk, you could say it's the heart knowing itself, and it's in every expression. I mean, there's just a lot of poetry, poetical ways of speaking it, but it's just, they all fall short in a way.
And I so love to, since we joined, I so love to recognize Jatran releasing since the meeting started, and feeling this, how he's coming home.
Yeah, it's so beautiful to just everything relaxes.
Drops and falls away. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who we already are. Yeah. And it recognizes itself. It knows, and it can watch that act. You know, that the activities where somehow it's filtered through conditioning or trauma or any of that stuff. That whole process of identification. But it's beyond it. It's really beyond it. It's, then love just flows freely. It's just like, wow, it's just like a celebration, just resting together. It's nothing. It's just, well, how beautiful.
What else to say? Okay.
Thank you both. So good to be together again. It's just, what a treat, man. Judith.
Hi, Isaac.
So there was a sweet little shift there. What happened, you know?
Yeah,
Can you track it?
I can't track it, but I feel the difference. I felt when
Yeah.
it shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
In a way, such a paradox, like this resting as beingness, which is not dependent on any circumstance whatsoever. It's absolutely unfettered by anything. And then also seeing, okay, you know, like just watching the different movements that come and
Yeah.
which ones get picked up and which ones don't. And so just now there was again an interesting kind of movement. Just came, doesn't need to be made into anything. Yeah? Today I went to a very interesting meeting here, local meeting. It's like there's a movement within this community here, like you know, there's this whole kind of consciousness of trying to control through fear and through rules and regulations, and it was so beautiful to be with people and just going, okay, here we are. What is it that we love? You know, what makes a strong community? How do we support each other and growing enough food for this whole region, and also standing up legally, and what, you know, how to play the game without going into division. And it was inspiring to me. I loved it. And then look, you know, there's a recognition that times are changing quite fast, and that the indigenous tribes have all prophesied this time. You know, it's like, okay, and so we're here now. And how do we bring our collective intelligence to move through this as smoothly as possible? I loved it. I found it inspiring.
Nice.
One of the things I learned, I just shared with everyone, maybe it's useful to you, is like, if you do go to a rally or something where you're standing up and just, you know, somehow you get arrested and you get taken to court and they say, are you Judith? And you say, no, I have responded to that name, but it's not who I am. Because there's a whole legality around it. If you claim that you're that, then you're subject to a whole other set of laws. And fantastic to know that. Yeah, I mean, we know it in these meetings, but it actually is recognized by law that you're not that person. That person is a whole legal orientation. I found it. I loved it. Yeah.
Here we are.
We are.
This moment, yeah.
This moment, yeah, enjoying the stance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And meeting each other in a way that's food, that nurtures, or meeting each other in a way that's painful. I mean, it's just in a way that's simple.
Yeah, it's simple and also in this time easy to fall off. Very easy also.
Yeah. And easy to recognize it and go, wow, what an opportunity. How beautiful. So pleased that revealed itself.
Yeah. And the beauty of coming together and have the support together and remind each other,
Absolutely.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that we can meet and that we meet together.
Yeah. And today I saw, like a grounded, not only meeting each other and supporting each other energetically, but like setting up a system where we could, barter and trade and, just
connected to the earth. What can we do practically? Practically, how do we do it in daily life and what can we do? Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Isaac.
Thanks, beloved.
Thank you.
Sorry, Afia, did you raise your hand or?
No, but I but I like to have some at the moment, actually.
Okay, cool. Exquisite. Do this.
It's interesting to observe that. I think almost every time that I raise my hand, I can feel how there's almost something else that is kind of takes over and does that.
What do you notice with this?
This movement from thought, being caught up in thought, and then back into this silence that has this kind of this heavy quality, but like in a positive way, like heavy being positive, like this. And it seemed to me that there are some problems on my mind, or so to say. And what I noticed that there was being shown that, yeah, sure, it's okay, and then you can just be here. And there was this, I don't know, it was a recognition or an idea that, all right, it's always there. It's always there, no matter what's happening in front. And if awareness is in front, this is always there. And what's happening in the front is pain, uncomfortable. Was engaging with Icelandic people, and it's another level of pain.
I heard, I mean, I don't know if it's what's true about it, but someone was saying that in Iceland, the citizenry went and occupied and blocked the government from coming into their offices.
What? Who did?
The people of Iceland?
No.
Didn't happen?
No. No, Iceland is not this, I mean, this model country in this sense, which is often portrayed in these kind of online stories. It's there's massive level of control, and there's a lot of agreement to that. Not necessarily to the specifics, but majority of the country wants to control everybody else. Majority of the country is acting out of pain and wanting to shape society to fit their pain. And
so it's nothing happened recently in the last few days?
Not that I've seen. No,
okay. Someone was just saying that they saw something. I hadn't seen it, but yeah.
No, there's a huge call for everybody to obey and and the people who are not obeying, they're not necessarily doing it out of some sense of wanting freedom and that this is maybe not a good way to maybe deal with the issue. They're acting out of a different place to a big scheme. No, I mean, if anything, part of what I'm dealing now is with, like, you know, I go to this place, I just think that Iceland is like this absolute hell on earth. That's like the pain that is in my body. That's kind of like the judgments that come at me. Like, I just think this is like the most horrible nation like on this planet. That's just like what's going on in my system, actually.
Wow.
It's so much unhealthy. And the thing is that even if I've learned new ways of maneuvering, I find it very difficult to keep to those ways when I start to interact with Icelandic people. I myself get pulled into those old patterns very easily.
Oh wow, yeah.
And yeah, I think we're king of projection.
So just taking a moment and just like when you say I get pulled,
Yeah.
just to see it's not you that gets pulled.
No, there's
like yeah, there's a movement. Just slowing it down enough right here. And just getting a sense of that which is aware and that which gets pulled. Just going backwards and forwards, that which is aware and that which gets pulled. That which is aware and that which gets pulled. What can you notice just in that inquiry?
I noticed myself this very subtle movement, and that well, in a sense, before we started to repeat the inquiry, I could see awareness was kind of like sitting at the back of the body, and how that gets pulled is somehow these patterns of information, how they more kind of reside in the body or in the front of the body. And then, so I was trying to follow your guidance. I somehow got pulled into left side of my body where I'm experiencing pain from. And we kind of come to this place in a discussion with a person yesterday, Icelandic person, where I felt like I had opened up and it felt like we were getting somewhere. And then out of nowhere, she just stabbed me in the heart, like with this judgment, which doesn't have so much meaning in itself, but it was the intent to hurt, which hurt. And then I'm noticing how they're like, I'm not a full awareness, but there is noticing of around that how there are patterns of disempowering, like how I'm giving that weight, how there are stories about.
So my question is
helplessness.
Yeah. Would you ever do that consciously? Would you ever give your power away consciously?
No.
No. So you can see it's not you.
Yeah.
So then the question again, what gets pulled? It's not you.
And now I have this sense that it's like this information, like in the form of energy, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So I see
beautiful.
quite clearly like this. Oh, it's energy, information, patterns, like it's all basically all the same what I just said.
And once you see it's not you, it's just this energy that you could say is information that gets activated or vibrated. And gently, gently, gently being present to that. Recognizing it's not you.
Yeah, and then another pattern that is trying to somehow keep away from it or manage it. Manage the discomfort.
Mm-hmm. And who are you?
The thing that is noticing that.
Yeah. Cool.
And there is some identification with the part that is trying to manage.
just to notice. And who does that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Something happens.
Yeah.
Just slowing it way down so it can just show itself. Just showing it. Something happens. In the vastness of beingness. Little. Something pulls attention in a certain way. And it looks like to follow it will bring some gain or some benefit or something.
Yeah, I can notice how, yes, there is an idea that like these patterns, to play these patterns, that it's a game that somehow the behavior that feels hurtful might stop. But this other layer which I'm not fully seeing.
So we can back off for a second and go from like, physically someone can punch you, but how you would participate in that is standing in the way of the punch. There's a possibility you could get away, out of the way of the punch. But emotionally, hurt happens. And it's curious just to slow that way down. Something like someone says, "Oh, you stupid idiot," or anything, you think you're greater than God, or who knows what kind of verbiage. But something happens, and somehow something doesn't like that, or goes into resistance about it. It doesn't just go, "Oh, I see you hurting." It goes into, "How dare you?" Or, "I don't like that," or so it somehow believes what's being said. It doesn't recognize that it's just sounds.
Yeah, what I notice is that what I'm noticing is that one layer of that element or that is it's actually trying to control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like I taking on hurt is trying to control the behavior of the other.
Exactly. Exactly. What a game, huh?
Yeah. And I remember actually when I took this, and so there's also something below it, because before that game was taken on, there was already not liking what was happening, and this was an attempt to change that. But it seems, without me seeing it clearly, it seems like it doesn't add up that somebody can hurt me. But there's something more to be seen.
Yeah, so it's not them that hurts you, and it's not you that hurts you, because you wouldn't do that. But something, somehow, hurt happens, yeah?
Yeah.
So just laying that down enough. What's going on in the background, what's happening, that it shows up as hurt.
I see is wanting to control what's in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting to
And what's the basis of that? Go to the bottom of that.
What I notice is fear.
Yeah, cool. What is fear?
Not sure, but it seems quite dark and lonely there.
Yeah. Who's doing it? Or what's doing it?
Not sure.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Somehow it's just happening. What's the function of the fear?
It seems to keep away,
To try and protect you from feeling bad or feeling hurt or
from hurt.
So you feel hurt to not feel hurt, or you feel terrible to not feel terrible.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be bad if it worked.
No.
But then just coming again to that frequency of vibration that you've been calling fear, and just now that you see what its function is, just honoring it and saying, okay, well, thank you for working so hard all these years. But you can take a break now. Take a holiday. I'm here. The beauty that I am doesn't need protection. It's like, if the mafia comes to you and says, look, we're selling protection. Okay, who are you trying to sell me protection from? Well, us, of course.
Yeah.
If you don't pay, we'll beat you up.
Yeah.
So what happens if fear shows up and you go, oh, wow, thank you. Thank you for working so hard. Yeah, thank you for working so hard. And right now I've had a look and actually not necessary. I just kissing my beloved and yeah, it's all okay. I'm ready to die. It's a good day to die. It's a good moment to enjoy kissing my beloved or be beloved. What do you notice, if anything?
Yeah, I noticed there is still something there that believes it can be heard.
So go deeper, go right into the core of hurt and see what it is. What is hurt?
I'm not even sure anymore because I noticed before I came on here, I was feeling this hurt, and I realized like, oh, it's just this kind of fiery feeling.
It's just a fiery feeling, yeah.
Yeah, when I just recognized it was fire, the perspective just changed, and it just that aspect of the hurt just swept away.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what hurt is in a sense anymore. It's just
far out. That's just from looking for a moment, huh?
Yeah. And now there's some different quality of something that gets perceived as discomfort. And I'm not sure what quality it is. It says it feels more heavy, more kind of earthy, I guess. Or maybe like iron, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of pulling.
An image. There's an image I love. I mean, there was a story of Buddha's life, film made, and at one point he's sitting, and all these old thought forms and all these, they call them masuras, you could say, like energies, and like start crowding in his consciousness. And it's just like whole, in the movie it shows it as whole armies of these things coming at him. And he's sitting there, and at one point he just puts his hand on his hand on the earth, and he says, I have a right to be here. I'm not moving. And then they just all turn into rose petals and fall around him. It's like, you start looking, what is fear? Oh, no, it's not much. Yeah, what is all this? What is all these things? What is it actually?
I'm not even sure.
Yeah. Is it real? If it can come and go so quickly.
Yeah, and I guess also where I'm at with it is, it seems to be also such a matter of perspective, like the whole thing.
Whew, no kidding. Yeah.
And I guess involved in the perspective is just like this, yeah, it's like this old thing, like this, what unknown or not fully understood seems dangerous. And then when it's
you
a
look
bit more understood, like, oh, it's just fire.
Yeah, nothing.
And if I'm fire, then fire can't burn me. I mean, but fire can't burn fire, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's that story from the East, you went mountain climbing or something and you had a big rope and you came home and you were tired, you just threw it in the corner of the room. And the next day you walk in and it's dark and you see this thing laying on the floor and it looks like a snake and whoa, and you get a fright and you turn the light on and you see it's a rope.
Yeah.
At that point, you don't even have to move the rope. It's not a snake. It can do nothing to you.
Yeah.
So there's the anger. You look at it and, oh, what is it? Oh, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It can do nothing.
It's just a vibration,
yeah.
One
don't have to get
vibration.
rid of it. Don't have to change it. You've seen what it is.
Yeah, it seems like it's so much about just being okay with whatever vibration comes into the field.
Yeah. Yeah. Just exploring. Keep inquiring. Okay. Wow, it looks like a snake. What is it?
Yeah, exactly. What is this? Don't know yet. It will reveal itself.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, okay. Thanks so much.
So welcome, man.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah, good.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought I'd mention something or ask you something I've been doing for the last couple of days, and it's been very interesting.
Cool.
I've been experiencing, like, deliberately, I'll make seeing everything as just happening.
Yeah.
Including me, like my actions, and which is kind of previously I've been able to do that with other stuff, but to include the self, in that the body, kind of interesting. And I wasn't sure. I thought that maybe it would make the experience of life more detached, but actually the opposite was happening. It was like everything was becoming more detailed and interesting and surprising.
Yeah.
And it was quite mad. Like, I was talking to Liz today and I could see every single expression on her face and her breathing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Far out. Yeah, somehow your attention is more available to notice everything rather than being distracted by thoughts and other stuff. It's just seeing.
Yeah. It seems like the major distraction is, it's almost like I'm doing stuff, but also everything else is being done as well. That there's this, I don't know, agenda or...
Yeah, so let's just deconstruct that. What's doing stuff? Like right now, seeing is happening. What's seeing? Breathing is happening. What's breathing? Body is bodying. What's bodying? Thinking is thinking. What is it that's thinking?
Yes, everything's just doing its thing.
So, yeah. It's cool, eh?
Yes, it is.
The universe is universing.
Yes.
Light is lighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Energy is energying. It's just, man. So who are you?
Yeah, and also it seems to as well that there's when the interpretation is imposed, you know, of this doesn't have to be this way, it should be a different way, or could be a different way, that there's a kind of automatic, well, that's going to create unhappiness, isn't it, for people? So.
For sure. Absolutely. And who does that? Who would do that consciously?
I think it's on purpose. I think it's a habit people have.
Yeah. Yeah.
They learned it, or the parents did it, and they do it.
Old information, just looping. Yeah.
Is there in that experience of everything's just happening? Is there also how, you know, do people, the humans, do they experience a kind of sense of powerlessness, you know, not able to achieve things? Or is the other way to look at it is that whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and that includes them, so they would do something or not?
Yeah, so, you know, it's like this whole sense of power.
Yes.
Like really and truly, this intelligence, you could say, that's manifesting as everything. Everything. Every air molecule, everything. And you're not separate to that. You are that. An expression of that.
Yes.
So no separation
it's
to that. Yeah, it's like.
All right. So it's not like, yeah, I get it. It's kind of unusual. It's like the habit is to think in terms of causes and effects, you know.
Exactly.
This thing over here is doing something to this thing, but actually it's all the same thing that's happening.
It's all the same thing, exactly.
All right. That's better.
All right.
yes, I can see how people's experiences of their life, I mean, experiences in my life, kind of, that you might feel that you have been helpless or something. So when I was a child, when I was 12, my father died, and that was something, it felt like something that happened to me, you know. So I can see how you might not want that might be your habit to want to be in control.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
But
Is
you
like,
can't, you actually can't.
you know,
so it's kind of sad.
like this feeling sense of being separate, when we can recognize that actually there is no separation and never can be. What's separate from what? It's just a perceptual sense from a certain habit of attention.
Yes.
So, in other words, it's a mirage, it's not actual. And I know for sure you've experienced directly that there is no separation. But just a little shift of attention, and it seems like there's separation again. Kind of like an interesting, it's like one moment it looks like this, one moment it looks like that, and what's changed? The only thing that can change really is, I mean, our focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, beautiful. Like when we look at our own experience, you know, like a contraction happens, can we control whether a contraction happens or not? Or does it just happen? Suddenly there's a contraction. Nobody did it. And then that contraction pulls attention in a certain way. Attention goes to that contraction and wants to try to solve it or fix it or get rid of it or make sure it never happens again. And then within that pull, in that perspective, paradise seems far away. Or something seriously is wrong here. And then our thinking thinks it knows what's going to solve it. And if that's believed, then happiness is postponed until we have what the mind tells us will make us happy. And the vastness of who we are is overlooked in just by the focus being directed in a certain way. Yeah? And it seems to function the same way in all of us. I mean, it's amazing. Nobody does anything. This thing happens. Yeah? Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, Pavitra, for hosting. Love, love, and more love. Yeah. Ciao.